Welcome, I'm Professor Greg Long, and this is Northern Illinois University's Perspectives on Disability MOOC. I have the privilege of putting this particular MOOC together and opportunity to share it with you. And in our lesson today, week one, it's going to be kind of an overview of the course and how it's structured, what expectations are, and provide a few introductions and kind of go from there. Tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm Dr. Greg Long, or Professor Long. I've been at the university now since 1991. And while I'm here, I'm chair of the Presidential Commission on Persons with Disabilities. And for our particular point right here, one of the things that's most significant is that approximately 10 years ago, I developed a course, an on-site course called Disability and Society. It's a large lecture class. We have about 300 students per semester. But we use a lot of guest speakers, and we hit a wide range of topics that many of the students have never heard about. And that experience is certainly one that structures how we're doing today's MOOC. In addition to my professional background, you'll hear about this a number of times as we go through the lessons, but I have a strong personal interest in disability. I'm a sibling. My brother David is not quite 2 years older than I am. He's deaf and multiply disabled, has very limited language skills. And our father died when we were teenagers, and I've had a tremendous amount of responsibility and guardianship for him for the last 30 years. And in fact, was responsible for his, several of his more recent placements and work efforts. I also have a stepson who has autism who lives with us. He's 29, wonderful young man. And growing up, had many, many experiences learning about disability and doing volunteer work. And so while you might look at me and see a middle-aged, privileged white male, I have those demographics. On the other hand, for purposes of this class, I'm very attuned to thinking about disability as an issue of access and not as an issue of medical concern. Now, one of the things that will make this course unique, I think, and that will make you, hopefully encourage you to enjoy it, is that you're not just going to be hearing from me. One of the things that I believe in very strongly is getting the input from a variety of different people who have different perspectives, different viewpoints. And so in the conceptualization of this course, in the development of it, in the production of these videos, editing of these videos, have involved students of all different types, backgrounds, and disabilities in helping to create this. And so what I'd like to show you now is a short montage of greetings and messages from an ongoing series of guest speakers that will be with us throughout the various lessons. So with that, turn it. Currently, I'm a rehab services major. I'm a senior, about to graduate in May. I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to graduate. Other than that, I enjoy playing at the computer, dabbling in programs, playing basketball, working out.
My name is Sarah. I am a communications major with an emphasis in rhetoric and interpersonal communication. Some of my interests include stand-up comedy, theater, music, animals, and of the like. I really enjoy traveling and learning new languages and scoping out new cultures.
I am 26, I'm married, and I really enjoy kickboxing. I love to go on walks with my golden retriever. She's a sweet dog. I own my own home, which is unusual for most college students, I know, but I'm going to be graduating this year, so that's a plus. Family is very important to me. Nothing means more than me, especially my younger siblings, teenage siblings who I like to take under my wing quite a bit. They like to spend the night at my house, and we have a lot of fun doing that. So I'm also a movie connoisseur, collect movies and go to movies. It's kind of our theme at our house is movies. So,
see, it's me and my 3 children. Samantha is 14, Alexander is 9.5, and Megan is 8. It's me and my 3 kids and my roommate. We all live together with our animals who are always up and down and everywhere. It's a typical household. Kids go to school, I go to school. My roommate takes care of the kids while I'm here. I love to read when I have time. James Patterson is one of my favorite authors. I will sit and just devour books if I could, if I didn't have to read everything for school. I would just sit and read all day long if I could. I do work full time. I work at the same company I have for the last 18 years. So if I'm not at work or at school, I'm generally sleeping or getting attacked by one or another child and or animal.
Sure. I enjoy reading. I like talking with friends. Occasionally I go to the movies. I like to watch TV occasionally, but mostly I like to read. I like to go on the internet quite a bit. Things like that. I have a blog online. It's a career blog because I really enjoy career counseling strategies. People can use career advice because I think it's helpful for me because I get really nervous during interviews myself, and I think that's really helpful. I want to help other people that have the same kind of problem that I do. So yeah.
My name is Sheila Milan. I'm a doctoral candidate in adult and higher education. I am the foster parent for my niece who's 18 years old, and it's given me a different perspective on growing up, and also I find it interesting that my so-called disability is not a disability with that generation. Whereas before, over the generations, it took time to learn about what disability meant and how to go about it. But oh no, not that group. That group, they're okay with disability, whereas they believe you should be independent. In other words, do it yourself.
Well, I am Becca Foltz. I'm a special ed teacher as well as a sister of someone that has Asperger's. I picked teaching because my sister has Asperger's. So it's kind of come a tenfold kind of thing where I've taken the experiences I learned with her, put them into my career, and then I've learned new things in my career and brought them back to the family and back to her.
My name is Kyle. I'm a welder by trade, and I'm also a sibling to someone who has autism.
I have 7 kids. I'm married and I have 7 kids. My younger 3 have disabilities, and my wife is also hearing impaired. The younger 3, the oldest of the younger 3, Michael, he has autism, ASD. Dante has 5 different disabilities. He has hydrocephalus, he has cerebral palsy, he has a seizure disorder, he has a cognitive disability, and he also can't speak because of his cerebral palsy. And Jacob, who's the youngest, the baby, he has actually 3 disabilities. 2 were just recently diagnosed. One is autism, the second one is scoliosis, and the other one, he has a seizure complex with consciousness, so that's it. And my wife is hard of hearing. She's deaf in one ear, and she's severely hard of hearing in the other. So it's quite interesting.
I'm actually from the Chicagoland area. I went to Northern Illinois University from 1986 to 1991. Yes, I did take the 5-year plan, but there is a reason for that. And I am currently living in Bartlett, Illinois. You know what motivates me is helping others. I think that's number 1 on the list. For myself, in order to do that, I have to be healthy every day. So the course of any given day, I have to make sure that I am healthy, both physically, mentally, and emotionally.
My name's Dale Schweck. I moved to Illinois in 2010 from Philadelphia area, and I came out here because of the Vision Studies program over in Graham Hall. I'm a musician, and I enjoy technology and just generally having a good time here at NIU.
Well, I'm Deb Goff, and I'm a professor here at NIU in the School of Allied Health and Communicative Disorders. I'm a professor of rehabilitation and counseling, so I've worked in the field of disability for a lot of years. I'm also the parent of a son, Kip, who is 20, who has autism and cognitive disabilities as well. So I would say that I see things from 2 perspectives frequently, from the parent perspective, but also from the professional side. And I think that's been beneficial in my personal life as a parent. That has certainly been helpful to have my background. And then as a professional, it certainly makes me more sensitive and familiar with the territory that clients may be traversing.
Yes, my name is Lori Nelson. I previously enjoyed a career as a registered nurse in adult intensive care for 20 years and then became a speech language pathologist, which I've been doing for the last 13 years. I'm also a parent of an adult son with a disability of autism.
My name is Mark Harris, and I was originally from this area. Now I live in Chicago, and I enjoy the city very much and all that it has to offer. I do work at UIC, at the College of Medicine, where largely because of the things we'll talk about today, I have been afforded the opportunity to work with doctors in training, first and second year medical students. And it's been quite a rewarding experience. And as I mentioned, largely because of my advanced HIV, or one might say acute symptomatic HIV, it's afforded me the opportunity to relate to these students in ways that I think other training specialists and educators may not be able to do.
Now, one of the things that you'll find about the course, and we'll talk more specifically about the structure here in a little bit, but that I'd like to start most classes with an activity, a pretest, something to get you thinking about the topic. And although this is week one, I feel it should be no different. And so what I'm going to ask you to do right now is a little bit of a pretest. And I would ask too that you give it your best shot, but that you don't go online and look up an answer or whatever. That what I'm wanting you to do is simply write down, and this is for your own benefit, but to write down what you think the answers to these questions are. We'll certainly review the questions and the answers later on in today's lesson, but these are themes that will continue to come up across a number of lessons within the MOOC. So I thought it best to see kind of like, what's our baseline? Where are we starting at right now? Right off, the first thing I want you to write down is, from your understanding, what does the word disability mean? And then what does the word handicap mean? And how are the two of those words different? Now, in the second question, I'm asking you to write using what's called person-first language. And based upon my experience with many, many students over the years, most people are probably not going to necessarily know what we mean. But if you do, give it a shot, and if not, you can certainly leave things blank, because I promise you by the end of this course, if you watch each of our lessons and participate, that you'll find out what we're talking about there. So the first sentence, if you would, to rewrite would be, the blind often find icy sidewalks difficult to manage. Okay, so using person-first language, how might that be rewritten? The second example is, my friend is wheelchair bound. How could that be written in a way that's more neutral, that's less judgmental? And then similarly, the third item to be revised is, she suffers from diabetes. So how might that be changed? So I've asked you for definitions, I've asked you for using person-first language. What I'd like to do now is just see if you know or have heard of something called universal design. And if you have, and don't put down a definition of, it means that everything is designed universally. No, be more specific, and can you list a couple of examples? Again, we'll come back later in this lesson and give you this detail, but right off the bat, have you heard of universal design? And then the final question on today's pretest for day one is, when you think of the various barriers that people with disabilities encounter, what would you say is the biggest barrier they encounter? Is it architectural, the lack of stairs, for example, or ramps? Is it technological, the difficulty in accessing materials online or captioning? Is it attitudinal? Is it related to family? What do you see as the biggest barriers that people with disabilities face? All right. With that, we'll end this particular segment. As I mentioned, we'll come back and answer the tutorial segments a little bit later in today's lesson. And all we did right now was essentially introduce myself as having some background in this, and doing this class as a tribute to my family, certainly. But perhaps most importantly, introducing you to the variety of guest speakers who are going to join us in this journey, and whose perspectives I think will add a lot to what we talk about. So with that, we'll end this segment and pick it up as we talk about basically kind of the rationale. Why was this course developed, and what are some of the benefits you might get from it?